I've noticed that some of you might be feeling maybe if your image had more filled out, correct? Maybe you feel like your image should have more at the bottom, but you cut it off and you cannot go all the way back. Maybe? Because I've seen couple of you. So what happened, because the thing with Photoshop, and I want you to understand, is that you can only go back 30 steps, okay? The good news, with Illustrator, you can go back as many steps as long as the file is opened. So what happens if let's just say, I cut a section, but I didn't notice because I was in a different file, correct? When that happens, use your one tool, your quick selection tool with W. Make sure you have the layer selected. Make sure you select that section. And if you go to edit, you go to fill, you put content aware, and put OK. Look what happens. Okay? No, it generates it for you. Maybe I want something bigger, so maybe I just want to select it even more. And maybe sometimes you have to play with the AI. So Photoshop and Adobe in general introduces AI a lot more. So let's do it again. You go to file, sorry, you go to edit. You go to edit, you go to fill, you put content aware, and it will do it for you. Now sometimes it does little funky things like that. So it just depends on what you want to do. Let's just say it this way. Like for example, let's put it this way. For example, I do not like my image to be all the way at the bottom. I want it to be right at the center, correct? But look what happens. It looks very weird when it's cut off, correct? So if I select it, just that section with my marquee, which is M, right here, we go to file, we go to, where are you? Make sure that you're in the right layer, that's why it's not giving us the information. Go to, make sure it's selected the right layer, go to edit, go to fill, go to content aware. Let's see what happens. Not so bad, because I can actually just do this now. No one will ever know, okay? And I can put the CD where I wanted to put it. It just helps, gives you more options without you trying to like make the image happen. Yeah.
How did you put it in the foreground versus background?
So this is what happens. So you see how your layers are here right now? Okay. If you click and press and then drag, I can change the order. That's why they're there. Okay? Sometimes the content aware works better than others. Let's go back to the image from Spady. That's how you say it, right? Yeah. Let's just say maybe I wanted to have this to be wider. If I go to my crop tool, be careful cropping. It's like think of it as putting scissors or a knife. You can delete everything all at once, or you can just frame it. That's why be very careful with this. You see right here, it says delete crop tools. Unclick it. Make sure it's not clicked, because that means like maybe you have 30 layers and you're like, oh, let me just make it smaller. I don't want to change my canvas, blah, 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 correct? If you put it to delete the pixels, that means every layer that you had hanging out of your canvas is going to get cropped. So be very careful. So for example, I want to crop this. Maybe I want to make it bigger on the side, or maybe at the bottom. So I just go click here. I make sure, you see right here on the top bar says fill. I want generative spans. And I press enter. I agreed, yeah. So what happens is that AI is gonna fill it out for me. So that's one way photographers do it, by the way. They don't, AI has become so immersed with Adobe that they try to do it as much. So this one, they did it much better. You notice? I mean, you can see that it's a little repetitive, but from far away, not bad. Correct? Look at the difference. Hello? Hi. So that can be used a lot for any of the images that you might not necessarily like, oh, I need a little bit more on the side or at the bottom. You can do that. You can crop them out, or you can fill in with generative, like they show you here. Like sometimes it blends in, sometimes it's all about the AI. Maybe it works better. Does that make sense now, everybody? So you can do that. I want you to introduce that as well to you, because sometimes some images might not be that wide or that big or that impressive, but you can, in Photoshop, you can fill them in with content aware, or you can expand them with the crop tool, okay? So don't save here. Same thing here. So another thing we can do here, you see right in this section, it's not really blending in. So I'm gonna show you another tool. If you go to your stamp tool, and this is more advanced, and it's clone stamp tool, making sure you're in the right layer. I am. If you go and you select with option the sections you want to copy, and you keep selecting with all, this is more practice. You don't have to know this one so much, but it's just blending it in.
What did you click on?
The stamp is S for stamp. So then you can just blend her in. That's why I was like, oh, it's not that bad. Because guess what? You can blend her in. And if you blend her in, doesn't it look more seamless already? That's what we're trying to do now. This went from, let me show you. This went from here to here. I didn't spend that much time on it, correct? That's the clone stamp tool. So let's just say, yeah.
So I was trying to do it, and it says, cannot use a clone stamp because the area to clone has not been defined.
Because you're not in the right layer. And not only that, in order for you to clone stamp, you have to hover, press Alt to select, and then it copies it. You see that? So it's two. So here's your clone that you select, and this is the clone tool that you're using. So they're moving like this. Look, they're moving two together at the same time. Okay? It takes some practice, but once you figure it out, it's gonna save you so much time. Also, they use this a lot for photos, for photos as well. Let's just say like someone's face, like they want to imitate skin. It's hard to imitate skin because it has so many different pigments. It's not one solid color. So yeah, I'm gonna send this to you, Speedy. Okay. Yeah, no problem. So you see that she looks better now. In this section, sometimes you have to go old school. Let's just say you have this section. I just click it, copy and paste. That's the second layer. Bring it over. And just skew it. So the other part that I wanted to show you is we had controls, correct? Making bigger and smaller. If you right click this, you can put skewed and distort now. Meaning you can distort not equally, but based on what you need. Okay? And that's that. Like, it's not, and then you can erase it if you want to. No one will ever know. No one will ever. Oh, look at that. You planned pretty well. Okay. Ta-da! No one will ever know. So there you go. I'm gonna send it to you, sweetie. So then, this went from this to that, and it did not even take me 5 minutes. Okay? There are ways to salvage your work, because especially you cannot go more than 30 steps back. And if you look at it, anytime that I click the clone stamp, it was a step. You see it? That's why it can add up really quickly. Okay. So that's one. So I'm just showing you new tools for you to fix things. For example, one thing I do want you to practice, everybody, is how to duplicate layers really quickly. Meaning, you have here, you know what? I don't want the CD right there. I want like a wall of CDs. So if you make it, if you click, and then you press Option, you notice how my little cursor has two now? Look, my cursor has two. Let go. Two. You see that? It's a little shadow. It's very subtle. Look. None? Yes. If I were to select this, it automatically makes a duplicate. So if you press Option, or I think Alt in PCs, and hold it down and click and drag the layer you want, you can just duplicate it all at once. You see that? Yeah. It's very easy. So if you want to, you can even now, if you want to, let's just say there's a few ways to go about selecting layers all at once. You can click this layer and press Shift. Everyone has done that before, correct? With like writing, and you just select it. You see, as long as it's selected, I can duplicate it. Wait, hold. Done. And then I move them up. Wait. Okay? I need you to, we're gonna do this for the customer profile, by the way, the duplication. Okay? Actually, color story and customer profile. But right now, this is what ours is looking like. I want you to do this. I want you to try to get your mood page as much as possible today. I want we discussed the customer profile, correct? Are you guys feeling you can do both by next week as homework? How are you feeling? Yes? Is that a yes? Because you can have this image. You know what a customer profile is, correct? I'm gonna go over it, but what I'm saying is like, can you give me two? The mood page and the customer profile. Yes? Okay, just try. The color story we'll do together. And after that, we should be fine. Just to catch up a little bit, okay?